Welcome back to U.S. Farm Report. Trusted, timely, tradition.
Welcome back, as we're bringing you the show from Las Vegas this week. Well, dairy demand has been something to celebrate this year. Despite the higher prices at the store with inflation, dairy demand domestically is actually on record pace. But there are still some hurdles of concern for dairy farmers as they enter 2023. So what is the state of the dairy industry? That's our Farm Journal report this week with Michelle Rook.
As we look to 2023, the nation's dairy producers are facing some of the same headwinds they did this year. They're just going to be amplified. One is continued inflation with high prices for feed and other inputs.
Overall feed costs are huge, but it goes back to management also and the efficiency of your herd.
The cost of borrowing money for dairy producers is also doubled from a year ago, and the Fed is signaling additional interest rate increases early next year in their ongoing effort to curb inflation.
If you look at 7th District data, they are now looking at operational loan costs being at around 6.8%. If you needed to borrow money to buy farmland, it's about 6.5%. This is up about 3 percentage points from last year, substantially. And so whatever your interest rates costs were last year, it's going to be double.
The cost and availability of workers is another hot button issue for dairy producers.
Labor. It's labor. We've been talking about labor for a long time. I'm not very hopeful that we're going to get anything done there.
However, some Washington insiders are more optimistic about movement on immigration policy in 2023.
I'm one of the few who think we have a 6-month window in early 2023 with the new Congress to get a mini immigration reform through from both houses of Congress, the House and the Senate.
But in the meantime, dairy producers say they'll have to rely on more technology to fill the gap.
Robots are becoming more and more popular, and so it's a case where we just hire, pay for our labor up front, and by using a robot.
The other challenge dairy producers have turned into a positive is the goal of carbon neutrality in the food sector. In fact, the dairy industry has stayed ahead of the sustainability curve with some ambitious goals.
One is greenhouse gas neutrality by 2050 for the entire industry. The second is water quality improvements, and then water quantity improvements.
Those align with the goals of the food industry, like the world's largest food and beverage company, Nestle.
But then we went even closer to today and said, well, we need to reduce 20% by 2025 and 50% by 2030.
To get there, Nestle is working with dairy producers to cost share or provide financial incentives.
We then partner together. We create those contracts where that setup is happening, and we help those practices come to life at the farm. And we've also interacted with farmers that have already been doing practices, have generated some sort of carbon asset, and want to sell that, right?
Starbucks has the same carbon benchmark for the 1% of the U.S. fluid milk they purchase annually and is working directly with dairies in states like California to source milk sustainably.
To go on farm and to benchmark and understand our carbon and water footprint, to start working on a standard really that goes a little bit further environmental stewardship and works on animal care as well as the social impact.
And producers like Arlene Vandereyck are already lowering their carbon footprint, converting biogas from methane digesters into biofuel.
It turns it into fuel for heavy-duty vehicles. So we have 65,000 cows involved with all of the dairies put together. So for every 5 cows, 1 fossil fuel truck gets taken off the road, basically. So that's pretty amazing.
Despite these headwinds, the dairy demand story has been a positive one, even with inflation. So dairy producers hope that will help support milk prices in 2023 at levels that will surpass the higher price of production. I'm Michelle Rook for U.S. Farm Report.
Thanks, Michelle. Well, feed prices did eat into some outlooks this year. So are analysts bullish or bearish on grain prices as we head into 2023? Our marketing roundtables continue from the Milk Business Conference next.
Farmer to Farmer, the Conservation at Work video series features real stories, real successes, real quick. See what's possible at farmers.gov/conservation.